While searching for treasure in the garbage, the man picked up a mutilated cyborg girl. After scanning, he found that the girl's brain was still alive. The man hurriedly took her back to the laboratory and put a mechanical body on her. Not long after, the girl slowly opened her eyes. These big eyes were stunning. She looked at her new body, obviously a little overwhelmed. The man who saved her was a mechanical surgeon who often helped rehabilitate people to fix their problems for free. Seeing that the girl had lost her memory, the doctor had to give her a new name,
Alita.
In the future, in the 26th century, human technology will reach its peak, powerful enough to drive the entire city floating in midair, but only the rich and powerful are qualified to live in the prosperous city of the sky. And in the decaying lower-class Steel City, billions of civilians and reformed humans live there. The two very different worlds form a stark class contrast. After awakening, Alita became interested in this colorful world. One day, while hanging out on the street, the uninitiated Alita, to save a cute dog, provoked the mechanical centurion in public and thus met a man named Hugo. Hugo grew up looking at the sky and dreaming of living in Zalem one day. He believes that Alita used to live in Zalem because all the garbage in Steel City was dumped from Zalem. Unfortunately, Alita couldn't remember her memories. For the rest of their lives, they rode their motorcycles through the streets of Steel City. They tasted the local food and played the lowly version of Motorball together. Alita has a talent. Her first contact with a Motorball showed a talent that made other partners ashamed of themselves. As night falls, a lone woman on her way home is suddenly impaled by a large sharp claw. Alita looks through the door and sees the doctor coming back with blood on his hands. He was dragging a big box with him. The next morning, Alita learns from the patient that predators specialize in killing lone women and selling their parts to the black market in exchange for a handsome bounty. Alita looks at the doctor's injured arm and begins to doubt him. Late at night, the doctor does walk out the door again, dragging the big box with him. Alita quietly followed behind, and she found the doctor was holding a rocket hammer, ready to kill the woman in red. At the critical moment, Alita jumps in to stop him. At this moment, the doctor explained to Alita that he was a bounty hunter, specializing in hunting wanted criminals with bounties. Alita realized she had misunderstood the doctor, but it was too late. The doctor was quickly knocked to the ground by his opponent. Alita quickly pounces on the enemy in this critical moment and explodes into an amazing fight. When Spider-Woman saw that Alita's kung fu was not bad, she was immediately interested. Alita then used her long-lost mecha technique and easily finished the opponent. Seeing that the doctor was under Gruishka's control, Alita jumped into the air and kicked out with a downward kick, which caused Gruishka's arm to fall. Next, Alita took the doctor's rocket hammer and hit Gruishka hard, scaring him into running for his life. During the fight, Alita remembered the image of fighting on the moon, and someone called her the 99. After testing, the doctor found that her heart was unusually strong enough to drive the entire Steel City for many years. This long-lost technology no one can build after the Battle of Skyfall. In other words, Alita is at least 300 years old. Since she could recall her memories while fighting, Alita said she wanted to become a bounty hunter. However, this profession is too dangerous, and the doctor decisively refused her request. And after Gruishka was crippled, he found Chirin, the doctor's ex-wife. She and Vector are partners and are both under the orders of a mastermind named Nova. Nova is far away in Sky City but can control them with consciousness. Nova orders them to fix Gruishka and use him to kill Alita, demanding that her body be brought to Zalem. He wants to see why Alita is so strong. On the other side, Hugo brings Alita to the Motorball race. To win the game, they will use all kinds of tactics. The one who reaches the finish line with the ball becomes the winner. Vector attacked a motorcycle team competitor and removed his robotic arm to upgrade Gruishka's equipment, and the leader of the theft gang working for him is Alita's boyfriend, Hugo, but Alita was kept in the dark. Soon after, Hugo took Alita on a field trip outside the city and taught her about the Battle of the Skyfall 300 years ago. 300 years ago, the Mars Alliance launched a general attack on Sky City, and the battle ended in the defeat of the Mars Alliance. Zalem is the last remaining Sky City after the Battle of Skyfall. A ship is left over from the Battle of Skyfall in a pool of water on the outskirts. Upon seeing the ship, Alita seemed to be called by something. She jumped into the water excitedly and walked towards the abandoned cabin step by step. The ship's system suddenly activated when she entered the cabin, and the control panel slowly appeared before Alita. She skillfully closed the protective shield, and what came into view was an exquisite pair of battle armor. Alita then took the battle armor back to the lab and tried to get the doctor to give her a new torso, but the doctor refused her request. Because this battle armor is a humanoid weapon system made by the Mars Alliance, they were born with the Martian battle armor art. The heart in Alita's body is the heart that powers the mecha. That's why she's so agile. Upset by the rejection, Alita secretly went to the Hunter-Warrior Union and registered as a bounty hunter. She then went to the Hunter's Bar with Hugo and appealed to all bounty hunters to unite against Grushka, but the people started laughing at her. Zapan even turned on her and started to fight. Alita also showed no weakness and taught him a lesson. Not only that, but Alita provoked everyone.
I will take on anyone in this room, and if I win, you fight alongside me.
Alita beat the hunters to the ground. Luckily, the doctor arrived in time to stop the drama.
Knock it off! No more free repairs!
But just then, an upgraded version of Grushka suddenly appeared. It was obvious that he was coming for Alita. The other hunters ducked out of the way, and only the cute dog stood before Alita. But the next second, Grushka brutally killed the puppy. Just see Alita put the puppy's blood on his face. This is Alita's most classic battle totem.
I do not stand by in the presence of evil.
I'm in my world.
Alita leaped down, and they fought fiercely in the dark dungeon, but her opponent's equipment is so tough that Alita is no match for Grushka. She could only keep dodging. Eventually, Alita was dismantled by Grushka's chains. But she jumped up again with her powerful mechanical art. Alita stabbed Grushka through the eye with only one arm, but she could not fight back again. At the critical moment, the doctor and others came to her aid in time, and Grushka could escape. At this point, the doctor had to give Alita new battle armor. A new warrior is born with the new battle armor, and Alita's body is perfectly integrated. On the other side, Vector sought out Hugo, and he tried to use his access to Zalem to compel Hugo to cooperate with him in taking out Alita, but Hugo didn't respond to him positively. Alita knew that her boyfriend's dream was to go to Zalem, and she was willing to give everything to him. After saying that, she also took out the movement. Selling this rare accessory was enough to get Hugo to Zalem, but Hugo still refused Alita's offer. He then encouraged Alita to enter the Motorball race. If he won the race, he would get a chance to enter Zalem, but they needed to know that Vector had already arranged a hunting plan. He hired a gang of assassins and offered a reward of $500,000 for Alita's life. Before the game started, Hugo came to the scene of his accomplice's crime and said he would quit. His partner is not happy with his approach, but as the two argued, Zapan appeared with an evil laugh. He plans to kill Alita's beloved boyfriend to get back at her. Zapan cuts off Hugo's partner, and he temporarily escapes Zapan's pursuit with an incendiary bomb. On the other hand, Alita, a rookie in the race, enters the track with a big smile. At the same time, the doctor sensed that something was wrong. He tried to stop Alita from playing, but it was too late. The whistle sounded, and the others launched a fierce attack on Alita. Alita didn't give up and knocked one of them over with a single punch. After solving several opponents who rushed up, she could get out easily, even if she was rubbed on the ground. But just as Alita was fighting, she suddenly received the news that Zapan was hunting her boyfriend. Without the slightest hesitation, she directly crashed through the broadcast screen and leaped out. The killer followed her. Alita ran and hid, but just as she was about to cross the barrier, a chain came flying and locked her in place. She was about to be decapitated when Alita cleverly dragged the chain, and the killer was directly split into 3 pieces by her piggyback teammate. The last big guy also died in the crusher. After the killer gang was eliminated, Alita quickly arrived at her boyfriend's side, but the other party said he was hunting criminals legally. Hugo also did many shady things, but he did not kill anyone. But Alita, as a bounty hunter, knows the rules very well. She can only watch her boyfriend being stabbed to death by Zapan. At the same time, the mechanical centurion also appeared in front of her eyes, and there was no way out. Alita can only pick up Hugo and rush into the church. With the bounty hunter and the centurion at the door, Alita doesn't know what to do. At the critical moment, Chiron appears in time. She seems to see her daughter's shadow in Alita. So, Chiron used technical means to save Hugo's brain, but Zapan saw the flaw. He wanted to snatch Hugo's head, but Alita grabbed the knife and cut off his cheek. After returning to the lab, the doctor managed to save Hugo's life. The doctor also told Alita that no one living in Steel City could enter Zalem, no matter how much they paid. This is an iron rule that has been set for centuries. Because he was from Zalem, because of their daughter's serious illness, the family was driven out of Steel City. The only way to get to Zalem was to win the motorcycle race. Other than that, there was no other way. Hugo was cheated by Vector to end up in this situation. Angry, Alita stormed Vector's lair with a Damascus knife. Facing the well-equipped mechanical centurion, Alita didn't panic at all. She quickly eliminated all obstacles. Then Alita broke into Vector's office, but at that moment, Gruishka, hiding outside the window, took the opportunity to attack. Alita was pierced by the chain, but her battle armor has superb recovery ability. The fully awakened Alita has comprehensively crushed Gruishka and split him in half in just 2 rounds. At the same time, Alita remembered the Battle of Skyfall 300 years ago. It turns out that the last order she received was to destroy Zalem. Alita fails in her mission and lies in the garbage for 300 years. At the same time, the mastermind in Zalem was caught and possessed Vector again. The angry Alita killed him with a knife. But just then, when Hugo wakes up and tries to cross the pipe into Zalem, Alita rushed to stop him. But when Hugo was about to turn back, the big turntable on the pipe suddenly started. Hugo's lower half of his body is torn apart on the spot. Alita caught the mutilated Hugo, but there was no way back. They had to say their final goodbyes. Hugo died. In the end, Alita regained her confidence and made it to the finals of the Motorball. She waved her knife, broke her tears, and stepped onto the final stage amidst the cheers of the audience. With a Damascus knife in her hand, she points it at Zalem and declares war on Nova. This is the end of the film, but Alita's story doesn't end there. The story will be turned into a trilogy, and this film is only a prologue. There will be more exciting stories to come. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and we will see you next time.